Hey Team Bio, welcome to your screencast on our owl pellet dissection. So you're going to arrive in class on Wednesday, and I'm not going to tell you anything. All the information that you need in order to complete the dissection is in this video. So I expect that you'll watch it, you'll take notes, and you'll bring those notes into class on Wednesday, and just be ready to begin when we start class. So first things first, you're going to be provided with some information when you walk in. You'll be given a bone sorting guide, actually 2 bone sorting guides, as well as a bone organizer. These are going to be very important kind of later on in the protocol. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to be assigned a partner, and so you're going to, with your partner, go to your bench. At your bench, you will find a few important tools, most notably some tweezers, a hand magnifying glass, and an owl pellet, and some safety things. The first thing that you need to do when you get to the bench is glove up. This is important because you're dealing with basically owl vomit. These pellets have been autoclaved, meaning that they should be sterile, but we're still going to glove up. The type of dissection we are performing is a wet dissection. The owl pellets are going to soak for about 10 minutes, which they'll start soaking before the start of class, so they'll be ready to go when you get there. You are going to pull them out of the water and start to dissect. The reason why we're doing a wet dissection is because it's slightly easier to pull apart the pieces of the pellet material from one another, and the bones are a little bit less, they become a little bit more flexible and less fragile when they're soaked for a little bit. The bones are still very fragile, so you're going to want to be careful as you do this. The next thing you're going to do is separate pellet contents. Basically, your pellet is a bunch of bones and fur or feathers. And we want to collect all of the bones and discard the rest. But this is going to be really tricky to do. Some of the bones are very tiny and they're very fragile. So you have to approach this like an archaeologist approaches a very important dig. You need to be methodical and slow and careful. So as you separate the pellet contents from one another, you're going to clean the bones off with your tweezers and maybe gently running them underwater or in the water that your pellet was soaking in. And you're going to collect the bones, and using your bone sorting guide here, you are going to organize the bones in your bone organizer here. So 5 is ID bones, and place in your organizer. Okay, so that's going to be the bulk of class tomorrow. Just breaking apart the pellet very carefully, IDing the bones, and placing them in the bone organizer. Eventually, we're going to try to reconstruct the entire skeleton of the prey species. So that will be reconstruct the prey. And kind of last, we're going to use the dichotomous key. Oops, that's a C. to ID prey. And that will kind of be the lab practical part of this experience. And when we're done with that, we are going to aggregate the data. Not data. We're going to aggregate the class data across our class as well as all of the biosections and use it to make some inferences about the diets of these owls. Okay, that is all. Get excited. This will be a pretty interesting and fun activity, as well as maybe gross you out a little bit. So it should be exciting. I did this myself for the first time on Friday, and it was awesome. I ended up identifying a shrew, actually 3 shrews in one owl pellet of assorted sizes. So that was pretty interesting. Okay, that is all. See you in class on Wednesday.